Thank you for joining the University of Michigan Medical School Research Administration series brought to you by the Grant Services and Analysis Office. These videos provide introductory information on various research administration topics intended to provide tools to be successful throughout the research lifecycle.
So there are two primary systems that I want to be talking about today for university-supported resources that you can use for managing FSRs. These are resources that you can be using in the unit or department, regardless of what other supplemental systems and tools you're using in the unit to be managing post-award activity. And those two resources that we're going to be focusing on are the data warehouse or business objects, as well as M-reports. And again, even if these two systems are not systems that you may use primarily in your day-to-day management of your projects or awards, these are some tools that you can take advantage of that can help you manage FSRs or financial status reports. So we know that a big portion of managing projects post-award has to do with managing FSRs or financial status report activity. This time of year, we are in heavy report season. So September through December is the end of the federal fiscal year, and it can feel really overwhelming to have all those reports coming at you in your email box, right? It feels like report request after report request after report request is hitting your inbox. And so what are tools and resources that you can take advantage of that can help you manage that activity and know what's coming your way? So how many times have you sat at your desk and thought, oh my gosh, I wish I had an FSR crystal ball that could tell me what reports that I have that are coming due, so that I didn't feel blindsided when that information was hitting my inbox. There is a report out there in the data warehouse in business objects called Upcoming FSRs by Dept ID. That report is in the unit maintained folder. There's a research administration folder, and then there is a sponsored programs subfolder in there. So again, this is a pre-canned report. You don't have to write the query yourself. You can go in, run this report by your department ID, and what that report is going to do is return back all of the FSRs that are coming due in your report or your Dept ID for the next 4 months. Okay, so it's going to give you a really good snapshot of what the heck is going to be coming your way. And that includes reports, final federal financial reports, your FFR or your 425. If you're in the medical school, you know we have a huge NIH portfolio, so we do a lot of NIH final reports. It's going to tell you when FID or final invoice due reports are coming due, cost share reports, and then those closeout reports, which are the reports that you receive 270 days post FSR saying, hey, you should be inactivating your project. It's still sitting out there. So this is a really good first tool to take advantage of that is going to let you know what reports you have coming due. And why is that important? Because it can help you focus on which projects you want to be paying attention to and prepare and get ready for, right? So let's take a look at how, once we know what reports are coming, what are some of the high-level steps that you can take to get ready and tools that you can use. So the second tool or resource that I want to talk about is M-reports, and you can leverage this information at a high portfolio summary level. So if you're in the system and you're on that research tab and you look at your project summary, there are a bunch of columns on there with a lot of information, right? There's a lot of information on there. So what are a couple of the columns that you can focus on that are going to help you manage your financial status reports and making sure that you're getting your activity taken care of? The first one that I want to talk about is that effort on project column. So you can look at that column and scan down it. And if you see that word show up in the column, that means you have people efforted on that project. So it can be a really quick way for you to scan, go in and know which projects that you have personnel appointed to that you need to process PARs for to move people off because your project's ending. That will help you reduce that late charge analysis that comes with the FSR that says, hey, you have all this activity that posted after your project ended that you need to work to resolve for. So go ahead, do a scan on that effort on project column, look for the projects that have people on them, and then get your PARs in to get the personnel taken care of, and that will help you reduce your late charge analysis worksheet. Second column that is in there that you're going to want to pay attention to is a column called cost type. For most of your projects, you're just going to see direct and indirect showing there. But if you scan down and you see a cost type that says cost sharing, that's going to help you identify your projects that have cost sharing requirements or commitments on them. You're going to want to take a quick look and do an evaluation at what was your cost share budget and how much have you expended. And that's going to help you do a really quick analysis to see if you're meeting your cost share commitment as you're coming towards the end of your project. So do a scan, look for those projects that say cost share, and that will help you identify projects that you need to look at that have cost share requirements. We're again still in mReport's summary of projects. So high level portfolio view. The other thing that you're going to want to look at is your official balance as of last month and your projected balance columns. That's going to help you identify any potential cost overruns or overdrafts. That means you can talk to your unit and have a plan for how that activity is going to be funded. And again, overdrafts are not necessarily a bad thing. In the medical school, we want you to apply all expenditures to a project that are applicable to it, but you need to have a plan for how you're going to cover the overage. So look at those columns. If you have an overdraft, start having conversations now before those reports come to your inbox and know what the funding source is for how you're going to be covering those overdrafts. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper dive. If you have individual projects that you are looking at, now we're in the project budget status activity report. So looking at an actual individual project versus your summary list of your portfolio, use this information to make sure that you have appropriate budget approvals in place. So look at your categorical budget. If you see expenditures in any of your UG monitored categories, make sure that you have your budget. Don't wait until your closeout comes and says, hey, you need to get approval for these UG expenses or we're going to have to write them off the project. So even if you're not using this system to reconcile or look at your monthly activity, it can give you a snapshot of where your budget's at and whether you have authorized budget for those expenditures. The other piece of information that you can find on that page is we've talked about cost share. Look at your cost share revenue and know that you're going to have to be funding those cost share expenses. So if you've got cost share revenue that is coming due, make sure that you or the department or PI have a plan for where that funding is coming from. They'll ask you on your FSR what the funding chart field is for any cost share that you have due. You can't write in the sponsor PG in that chart field. So you need to have a departmental source for funding that. So if you've got cost share revenue that's due, make sure that you know where that money is coming from. So hopefully, I've given you 2 resources that can help you quickly identify how you can look and see what FSRs you have that are coming due, and then some tips and tools on how you can assist in getting, timely management of your project personnel. Make sure that you have appropriate budget approvals in place, and then how you can prepare for those unit commitments that you may have coming due, like overdrafts or cost share.
Thank you for watching this video. For additional tools and resources, please see our website under the Training and Resources section or by reaching out through email at msgrants@umich.edu.